So it's Memorial Day weekend, and I'm on the Jersey Shore. Now, if you just type in Memorial Day weekend on Jersey Shore 2025, you'll see all of the violence that's been going on, all of the arrests, all of the craziness, the chaos. It's insane. It's ridiculous. And why do people choose this? I don't get why people choose to live this kind of way. Like, what is appealing about putting yourself in harm's way? I mean, in the past, I've made stupid decisions, you know what I mean? But, I never woke up and put on a hoodie and a ski mask and said, I'm going to go hurt somebody today, hurt somebody in such a way that could potentially end their life. I don't understand what's so appealing about that. I don't understand what's appealing about anything other than love. Isn't that what life's all about? Love, creation, and, coming together and warding off the violence, embodying peace. I wake up every morning and I try to have love in my heart. I tap into the source. I tap into my source energy. And I look into myself and I acknowledge the infinite that is inside of me. There's nothing. We are a part of this great expanse of infinity. And every morning I wake up and I remind myself, in here, this is where I am. This is where I exist. This is where my power comes from. Not in here, from in here. And I remind myself that, because without it, I'll fall victim to I don't know what else to say, but sin, that sinning mentality, that negative way of thinking, that violent, nonsensical, ignorant, arrogant behavior. I don't, that couldn't be me. When I was a teenager, I got into a lot of fights. I got into stupid arguments and stuff, but we're kids, and to a degree that can be forgiven. But as adults, we have rationale, we have logical thinking. We're supposed to know better, and love is the ultimate embodiment of humanness and truth and reality. Jesus, for example, whether you believe in him or not, he's been revered by many cultures, many different religions, and it's no doubt that he was a real person, even though some may doubt his miracles. He existed for sure. And he was crucified, and, he was stabbed on the cross, and, people were laughing at him, and he was betrayed by Judas, and he was the Son of God, and he, forgive these people, for they know not what they do. And to embody that loving kindness and forgiveness while you're actively, being tortured is kind of crazy. To truly be so at peace with oneself and one's being, to completely eradicate any thoughts of hatred and negativity from your heart while actively being in one of the most degrading positions is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And, we do it every day. We have our struggles, we have our lives, and we have, a lot of people have health problems and, financial struggles and problems with friends, addiction, what have you, homelessness, disease, loss of self, loss of direction, depression. We have all of these things, and it's hard to get out of. But by allowing the outside world to interfere with the comminglings of the heart is only going to further the pursuit of depression. It's only going to give that power to the negative, to the dark. We can't allow evil to inhabit our hearts. We need to expel it. We need to acknowledge it and say, hey, this is not who I am. I do not align with this negative energy. I align with love and kindness. And when you start to do that, you start to see the sun shine a little bit brighter, the birds sing a little bit louder, you walk a little bit slower, you smell things a little bit clearer, and, music sounds a little bit better, hugs feel a lot warmer. Kisses and laughs feel more genuine, and you feel life a lot differently when you're not carrying around bitterness. You get to, we wake up every day and we choose who we're going to be that day. Even if we wake up and we have an initial feeling, we're allowed to do things to offset that feeling. We are allowed to, take the right steps to do things to change who we are. And we got to acknowledge that, because we are a part of everything. I am you, you are me. There are reflections of us in everybody. And I can help. I have helped so many people. It's still to this day, from years and years ago, there's people who I haven't talked to in forever who I'll bump into and say, thank you, Tanner, so much for, that talk that we had 4 or 5 years ago. I quit smoking because of you, or I quit drinking, or I got out of that abusive relationship or household, or I quit that job, or I started going to therapy, I started exercising, I started doing, and I've been able to touch and reach so many people through just practicing this kindness. And hearing that is so fulfilling. It really is. It brings me so much joy and happiness to know that just by being myself and aligning with love is making the world a better place, even if it's just one person at a time. Even if it's just one person at a time. And we all have it. And by them telling me and then coming to me and saying these things, that means that they are now too, and they are going to be more inclined to do that with other people, and it creates a domino effect. It creates this, or a butterfly effect. Like, who knows what my actions today are going to do for someone who I don't know tomorrow, or a year from now, or 20 years from now. There's this greatness, and it carries, it echoes more than the shadows of the dark. The darkness is an echo chamber. You send something off into the darkness and it disappears forever. With love, it vibrates, it echoes and resonates into the walls, and everyone who's in the room can hear it and feel it. You can't turn a blind eye to love. You can't. And yet so many people act like they are. And embodying negativity by enveloping yourself with hatred and negative self-talk, you're only crying out for help. You're showing the world that you have love, but you can't grasp it, that you can't let it out, that you can't show it to people, but you have it. By expressing anything at all is to be human. And to be human is to be love. All kids are good. We're not born into this world bad. When a baby holds your hand, you hold it. Or they hand you a telephone, you pick it up. Like when a baby hands you fake plastic food, you eat it. Because, there's not a single bad feeling or thought or intention in that child. And we grow up and the world takes it from us, and it's everything else. It's the greed of the few and the hatred of the few who have found that you can control people and use power to manipulate people, that have created this cycle of negativity and poverty, whether it's an impoverished soul or an impoverished bank account. It's all at the hands of so very few people who are neglecting love. Of course they have love. They're just putting it aside for selfish needs, and it's evil, and they know it's evil, but they still have love. You can't tell me that you put one of their loved ones in front of them who are sick or dying and they have no emotions inside of them. They feel and they bleed for the people that they love. We all have somebody that we love. There's nobody in this world who doesn't cry, who's not purely, truly 100% evil. So why do people flock to that? Why do people see it and try to pursue greatness or wealth or fame through negativity? I don't know. Maybe because it's the easy way out. It could be the easy way out, but life isn't easy. Even when you're doing that, it's only going to weigh you down in the end. It'll come back to bite you. And it usually does. It usually does. Like all of these stories of famous people, you know, being terrible human beings. Like there's very few, you know, good. There's this, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll is what they say. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who in Hollywood and in the music industry who aren't bad people, but it's commonly known as, you know, a bad, negative place to be. There's all the expectations and the deadlines and the companies that demand and demand and demand for supply. You don't have so much to give. You drain yourself dry. You run your blood thin, and you lose that mental and that focus, and you flock towards negative things when you're overwhelmed. And that's just one example. You know, not to say that everyone in like the entertainment industry is negative, but it's famously known for being that kind of way, you know? And even the churches, you know, I don't need to talk about, you know, the corruption with the children and the money in the churches, and, you know, all these mega $1 million, multi-billion dollar televangelisms, and, you know, using the church money to build bigger churches and give yourself riches. And it's evil. Disguising is good. You know, we can't. The wolf can only hide in sheep's clothing for so long. And once you realize that you've been tricked, you have to realign yourself with the love. Even if the message was of love and it was coming from a bad person, that message, no matter how you interpret it, even if it was used for nefarious means, all comes back to love. Everything comes back to love. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. It's true. It always comes back to love at the end of the day. And I love you, and I love the world, and I love myself, and I spread this. I'm trying to get more people to see this, and I know I'm probably only going to get so many views on this, but that's okay. Well, maybe one day, you know, this is only like my second week of doing videos, but maybe a year down the line, I'll reference this video and pull it up. And I'll be saying the same thing. I guarantee it. I'll be saying the same song. But we need to embody love, you know? We need to. I don't really know what else to say. That's all I really wanted to say. I can touch more, and I will, further into some of the topics I discussed in this video later. But for now, I have to get back to work, and I love you all. I'll see you in the next video.